For Elon Musk and his SpaceX exploration, his tiles and stuff. Perhaps you should have some kind of pressure that pressurizes the tiles on reentry, like a suction or something, like that keep the tiles from flying off, or a pressure like that pressurizes against the heat intrusion, like something that pushes back. So you'd have to have some kind of force that's pressing back against the heat, but maintaining the tiles and stuff at the same time from being pushed out. Or like having some kind of foam or gel that like goes out, that you press out of the cracks of the tiles as it comes back and it starts burning up. It starts releasing gel through the cracks, so it's not burning through the cracks, it's burning the gel, and it keeps pushing gel or foam or whatever out as it re-enters. And then it's like sealing it up, but it isn't, you know what I mean? So that could be like the pressurizing. That could be like something pressure pushing back against the heat, something like that. But the tiles still remain in place. You know what I'm saying? So it's not, and then you have the cooling. You could have like a coolant on the inner of the ship where it's cooling the other side that's not being burnt. So that way it keeps it at the temperature so it's not melting. Well, you'll have the coolness and the heat that is then doing the job there, you know what I mean? So that should help. And if you like use foam or something and keep foam or some kind of pressurizing of air, cool air, or something that pressurizes back against the heat, or like I said, like a vacuum that sucks the tile, that keeps the tile sucked in from being burnt off or cracked or whatever, or you could have some kind of sealant that could prevent that, like a repairing sealant somehow. But that would be engineering of that. And like batteries, like why don't you make like a storage for the battery waste? You have batteries, you charge it up, but then you don't get the full charged battery. As you get to the end of the battery, there's no more. It just and then it's gone. You're not getting the full amount of the charge of the battery. But why don't you have like a battery that has like a waste, so it could go there, and then maybe you could even use that for a better charging of the phone and keeping the battery alive longer and cool, and have it like weather protect it from the cold and stuff. You know how like the cold decreases the battery life and all that. Have the battery protected of the weather and the cold. Obviously you need that, and the heat and the cold, and then you need like a separate chamber or something for the waste, so that I can manage like the waste of the battery and maybe even reuse some of that, and to make the battery a faster charging battery while the battery's charging, it could then reuse some of the waste, like however that could be engineered in a battery, which there's a little bit left in the waste, but there's not much. But that's why the percentage of it just goes like bam, bam, bam. You're at like 20-30% of the battery, and then it's and then it's like gone. It doesn't charge regularly anymore. You know what I mean? So you need to like engineer the battery of some way of it discharging the waste and charging back up, and a lifetime of that, and the heat and the cold, and the charging faster of the battery. Somehow that could improve that, and the battery lasting longer, or at least the charging, you'll get the full charge out of the battery, and the life of the battery will last longer or something like that. Well, I don't know. Those are some things I was make a video for you. Bye.